Today, I'm breaking the rules. And I'm always going to break the rules. I have always been a disruptor. Today, we're going to talk about breaking the rules of how to grieve. You know, it's funny that when you go through the grieving stage, everybody has something to say. There's whispering, there's a lot. Today, we're going to talk about 3 things that the manifesto want us to do. The manifesto, you know, the one they gave you when you left the funeral home. They said, here, take this book home. This is how you grieve. That one. Oh, you didn't get that? That's the hidden one that everybody talks about behind our back. Well, we're going to talk about 3 rules that's in that manifesto book. Hi, my name is Betty, and this is Still Becoming. They tell you that there's 5 stages of grieving. As we already discovered with the story that I had in the quiet house, that there's actually another layer to grieving. And there's probably many more. But what they say, there's 5. They also say, take a year. You should be fine by a year. By whose standard? They don't know the capacity of what you lost. It could have been a divorce. It could have been a career. It could have been a child, a spouse. Who is it to tell us that we should take a year, and after a year, our grieving should be over? That's what's in the manifesto book. And if you're like me, if you want to break some rules, let's look at these 3 rules that we're going to break. The first one is be quiet. Why should we be quiet? The house was already quiet. When we took the mask off, it was quiet. Now you want us to be quiet some more when we have our freedom? You want us to be quiet? You want us to be quiet after we just lost that job, after, we just took off that uniform? You want us to be quiet some more? No, we're breaking that rule. We're not being quiet. Listen, if you just came out of a massive loss and you want to dance for 2 weeks and you want to play your music loud for 2 weeks, and people may say, that doesn't look like mourning to me. Doesn't look like she's sad about losing her job. It doesn't look like she's sad about that divorce. Who cares what it looks like? We are still becoming. We are breaking the rules. The other one is be predictive. What? Our world has just shattered. We just lost a job. We just came out of a divorce. What is so predictable about that? Oh, you're supposed to still get up, feel really happy, make the breakfast for the kids, get the kids off to school when your heart is hurting, when you are in so much pain. The manifesto book has said, get up and start doing. Get up and start producing. Get up and be that same person that you were before. But wait a minute. What if that person that you were before was caged and tethered to someone that you didn't even like, or a job that you didn't even like, okay? And they want you to be that same person. Why would you do that? Why would you follow that rule book? So that's a rule that we're breaking. We're not going to be predictable. You cannot be predictable after you have a loss. So you're supposed to get up in the morning and put your suit on when you don't have a job. You're supposed to get up in the morning and have a cup of coffee and get another coffee on your way there when you don't have a job. You're supposed to put on that uniform again when you don't have a mission. That's being predictable. No, we're breaking that rule. We're going to do what we want to do. And another rule that I like is, don't make anybody uncomfortable with your sadness. Oh, don't make anybody uncomfortable with our sadness? That's why they say when you lose a spouse or someone you love, they say take as much time as you need away from work. That sometimes is not for your benefit, it's for theirs, because they don't want to look at your sadness. They don't want to be in a position where they find you in the break room or in the bathroom and you had a total breakdown. Okay, no one wants to deal with you with that. That's why they want you to take as much time as you need, because they can't deal with your sadness. They can't deal with your breakdown. The best they can do is my condolences, my condolences. That's fine, but we're breaking these rules. If you want to go back to work like I did the first day and still have a breakdown, that's okay. Do that. Don't follow the rule book and say don't go back to work for about 4 to 6 weeks. You didn't have a baby. You lost somebody. And we are not going to follow the rules because we are becoming. You know, I spent a lot of time just performing and pretending to people that I was healed and I was doing fine. And deep inside, I was breaking every single day. Every time I walked in that closet and saw something, I was breaking again. But I put on that good face. I put on that smile. You know, I smiled when I wanted to scream. I stayed in a box because I didn't want people to think that I was losing it. But you know what? I did lose it. And losing it was the best thing that ever happened to me. I lost my old self. And now I have an opportunity to become my new self. I have an opportunity to be honest with who I am and what I'm going through. They want to tell you the best thing you could do is to get up and start moving and get out of bed and go outside and get some sun. Well, you're still becoming. If you want to stay in the bed for 3 years with the covers over your head, do that. The only clock you have is your heart that's beating. If your heart is still beating and you're doing what you want to do to bring you comfort, throw that rule out. We are breaking the rule book as of right now. So another thing is they do is, when is she going to get back to normal? When is he going to get back to normal? What is the normal that you're talking about? You just had a major loss. There is no normal. The normal has gone. A tsunami came and knocked out the normal. So what are they talking about? When are they going to get back to normal? We're not getting back to normal. And you know, and you can tell them that because we're breaking all the rules. You know, they say, I'm not getting back to normal. I'm reinventing myself. I'm becoming a better me because I didn't like the me that I was before. I tell you, one of the things, the first thing I did, well, not one of the first things, but one of the things that I did when I realized that I could do it, I didn't like the clothes that my husband picked out for me. I didn't like any of it, but I wore it because he bought them and he liked them. So the first thing I did was, when I came, you know, out of my funk, I went out and got myself a whole new wardrobe. There's no rule saying you have to be the same person. There's no rule saying you have to be normal, because my normal is different from your normal. And for my men, they say, be strong. Well, you just lost your career. You just came out of the military, the thing that you was there for 22 years, and that's all you know. You just lost your buddies, and they want to tell you, be strong. Well, let me tell you about that pillar of strength. It can crack. You can put so much pressure on that pillar of strength that it will crack on you. So don't be that strong. If you got to lean on somebody, lean on somebody. Okay? Because that pillar will crack. And for my sisters, my women out there, you don't have to have that cape on. Okay? It's okay to drop the cape. It's okay to stop being everything to everybody. Because when you start being everything to everybody, your cup is going to drain real fast. So let things fall apart. And when they fall apart, look at them, step over them, and say, I am still becoming. I am not going to be that same person I was before. So if you like this video so far, I'm breaking the rules. Hit the like button, hit the share button, and the subscribe button. But most importantly, tell me what rule that you are breaking, that the manifesto that they gave us that says, be quiet, don't disturb anybody, go with your sadness, be predictable. Which rule are you breaking, or do you have your own rule that you're breaking? My name is Betty, and this is Still Becoming. You all have a great day, and until I see you on the next episode of Still Becoming, and I really want to hear from you to tell me what are you doing during this time, and how are you growing, and how are you coming out to the world? Because the thing about it, we got a lot of freedom right now. You're no longer on that job. You're no longer with the military. You no longer have those children. Okay? You have time on your hand. You have time to reinvent yourself. You don't have to go back and be the same person. So when they say, when is she going to be herself again? Pull up a picture of the old you and say, if that's the one you want, take this photo. But take out your camera, snap another picture of you, and say, this is me, still becoming. Have a great day.